Hello, my name is Beverly Baird, and today I will be going over a few radical problems. In this section, we are going to be solving roots with variables. Now recall that a root sign is just one of these, and we have our index, which is n, and if there is no n on the root sign, it is automatically a 2. For our first example, we are going to do the square root of x squared. Now, x squared is the same as x times x. Since we don't have an index up here, we're looking for 2 of the same thing under the radical sign, which we have. So we're going to pull them out, and the square root of x squared is just x. Okay, we're going to do the square root of y to the 6th, z to the 10th. This can be written as y times y times y times y times y times y times, go all the way over, times z 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 times z. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Got to make sure that there are 6 of the y's and 10 of the z's, because that's what our exponents are telling us. And since there is no index number, we're looking for 2 of the same. So we have 2 y's here, we have 2 y's here, we have 2 y's here. So we're going to pull those out and get y times y times y. Now for our z's, we have 2 z's here, 2 z's here, 2 z's here, 2 z's here, and 2 z's here, which is the same as z times z times z times z times z. I'm not putting a radical sign over it because we've put them together and pulled them out. So this is the same as y cubed z to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th power. And that is our square root of y to the 6th, z to the 10th. Now we're going to try another one. We're going to move on to cube roots. And we're going to do the cube root of x cubed and y to the 4th. Now, as you know, this can be written as x times x times x times y times y times y times y. I have to make sure that my square root sign goes all the way over them. Now, since I've got 3 up here in my index, I'm looking for 3 of the same thing underneath the radical sign. I have 3 x's and I have 3 y's. So I'm going to pull these out, and we will get x times y times the cube root of y. Because there's a y here that does not have 2 more, it has to stay underneath the radical sign. Right. Now let's combine some of what we've done. We're going to do the square root of 25 x to the 3rd, y to the 4th. Now, from previous lessons, you know, you can write 25 is the same as 5 times 5. Now, I'm choosing that breakout of it because I have an index. I do not have an index here, which means I want 2 of the same underneath the radical sign. So we're going to write this as a square root of 5 times 5. X to the 3rd we write as x times x times x. And y to the 4th we write as y times y times y times y. And I make sure I've extended my root sign all over everything. Now, since we don't have the index here and we're looking for 2's, we have 2 5s here that we will pull out. We have 2 x's here that we will pull out. And we have 2 y's here that we'll pull out. And we have another set of 2 y's here that we'll pull out. So I'm going to pull out a 5. I'm going to pull out my x. I'm going to pull out a y and another y. Since I have not taken everything out of the square root sign, I'm also going to write a square root of x. Now, this is not the simplified form. The final answer you want to write as 5 times x, y squared, square root of x. A lot of the time we'll put the square root at the end so that we don't accidentally include one of these other numbers and change the whole problem. Okay, let's do one more example. Okay, for our last example, we're going to do another cube root. This time we want to do the cube root of 16, x to the 5th, and y to the 4th. Now for this one, 16 is an even number. So we're going to pull out a 2 to start with. And if we pull out a 2, then we have an 8 left because 2 times 8 is 16. 8 can be written as 2 times 4 because 2 times 4 is 8. And 4 can be written as 2 times 2. So underneath our radical sign, remember it's a cube root, we're going to write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That is for our 16. For x to the 5th, we can write x times x times x times x times x, making sure the cube root goes all the way over it. Now, for y to the 4th, we're going to put times y times y times y times y. Remember, since it's a 3 in our index, we are looking for groupings of 3 that we can pull out. So we have 3 2s that we can pull out, we have 3 3s we can pull out, and we have 3 y's. Sorry, we have 3 x's we can pull out. I think I just called them 3's. So we will have 2 times x times y. And since we did not clear everything out of our square root sign, we still need a square root. But we have left a 2, 2 x's, and a y. So we will put our 2 down here. We'll put x squared, because we have 2 x's, and a y. Thus, the cube root of 16, x to the 5th, y to the 4th, is the same as 2x, okay, sorry, 2xy, cube root of 2x squared, y.